Hey there, everyone. I'm 13 News Now meteorologist Rachael Peart with a midday update for the 1st of July, talking about newly formed Tropical Storm Elsa. So in case you missed it, Elsa formed with a 5 a.m. advisory on Thursday, and this is a record-setting storm. We'll talk about that in just a second. Its impact is expected to impact the southern Caribbean as we head through the next 48 hours, and impacts to the United States, specifically looking towards southern Florida, potentially. That's still to be determined. That's still quite a few days out. We're definitely going to be watching for those impacts in the southern Caribbean as we head through the next couple of days. So currently, Tropical Storm Elsa, 45-mile-an-hour winds actually did strengthen from the 8 to the 11 a.m. advisories, about 5 miles an hour. And this thing is speeding to the west at 28 miles an hour right now. So very fast moving system. So as it moves through the southern Caribbean, it's not going to be a long impact storm. If it was moving a little bit more slowly, it would impact those islands a little bit more. Let's talk about that record that I just mentioned a couple of seconds ago. So Elsa's formation this week actually makes it the earliest fifth named storm in the Atlantic on record. Now, if you're wondering what the previous record holder was, it was set just about 370 or so days ago. Edward formed July 6, 2020. So that was the previous record holder, but now Elsa has smashed that record by 5 days. Let's go ahead and switch things over to the satellite imagery. This is the infrared satellite, which shows you the temperatures of the cloud tops. Colder cloud tops equals higher thunderstorms. They're higher in the sky. Where it's colder, higher in the atmosphere. So some of those high cloud tops, you're seeing some of those reds and those burgundy colors indicating higher cloud tops, indicating also some healthy thunderstorm activity within Elsa. Switching over to the water vapor imagery, you're seeing quite a bit of this teal color associated with the storm. That's indicating moist air, and the tan would show you where the dry air is. Now, the good thing for Elsa to continue to potentially strengthen, or at least sustain strength, is that we're not seeing that tan color getting engulfed and kind of swooped into where those teal colors were, because tropical systems do not like dry air. They like moist air to thrive. They also like very warm sea surface temperatures of at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're definitely seeing that around this area. So let me go ahead and actually switch over to this side of the screen so you can see. For reference, this is the northeastern coast of South America. You see Trinidad and Tobago there, and there's also Barbados as well, just for some reference. And right at the top left of your screen, you can see San Juan, indicating where Puerto Rico is located as well. So as far as these sea surface temperatures go, you're seeing 84, 83, 85. So we have some good sea surface temperatures that Elsa will definitely be feeding on as we go through the next couple of days. And even on the other side of this chain of Caribbean islands, you're still seeing those burgundy colors indicating that Caribbean Sea still has those temperatures, sea surface temperatures, of at least 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Now, taking a look at the wind shear here, not too much really obstructing Elsa here. A little bit of wind shear. That's what we have, this kind of blue color here. But usually if we had a more decent amount of wind shear and a more threatening amount of wind shear for this system, we might see some yellows or some greens. So just a little bit of blue. So Elsa is still going to be fighting that as we head through the next couple of days. So taking a look at the spaghetti plots, you can see pretty good agreement here as we move through southern parts of the Caribbean. You're seeing Trinidad and Tobago not really impacted by it, but you're seeing Barbados, potentially St. Vincent and the Grenadines also being impacted by it as well. Then we start to see a little bit more of a spread as we look towards areas like southern Haiti. Have a couple of models moving other southern parts of Haiti. Also here's Jamaica right here, and then Cuba as well. Pretty much all the models taking it over Cuba, at least somewhere over Cuba. You're seeing, again, a little bit of a spread as we head toward Cuba into early next week. And then also, as I mentioned, possibly going into southern Florida. There's quite a few models still bringing it just to the west of Florida, toward the western Florida coastline. So we're going to be watching that as well. But then also a few models trying to bring Elsa around over Florida and then back toward the Gulf Stream. So that's where we're going to be kind of continuing to watch. Uncertain exactly where this could impact the United States, but definitely areas like southern Florida do need to be on alert, keeping an eye on this for some potential impacts. So again, we're watching Elsa moving very quickly off to the west. You're seeing multiple tropical storm alerts in place. We'll take a look at those in just a second. So just putting this into motion, looking from sometime Friday morning into Friday afternoon, evening time frame is when these islands are really going to be impacted by this system. You're also seeing continued strengthening with Elsa, so about 60-mile-an-hour winds by Friday morning. And as it moves over these islands, it is going to be impacted by some of that terrain, so we're going to be keeping an eye on that. So really not really expecting Elsa to strengthen too much as it moves over the islands, but then it's going to move back over our open waters. We could see some strengthening there, but then, as what typically happens when these systems move towards Cuba, could be impacted by the terrain of Cuba as well. So we're going to keep an eye on that Sunday into Monday, and then eventually, potentially, possibly impacting either southern Florida sometime on Tuesday, or maybe moving out into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So we're going to keep an eye on that. So here's a look at those tropical alerts. Tropical storm watches currently in place for Grenada and also for Guadalupe. And then we're also watching tropical storm warnings, which include St. Lucia, Barbados, and also St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Martinique, also included in that tropical storm warning as well. So as far as probability of seeing those 40-mile-an-hour winds, as we look toward the next, again, 36 or so hours, we're seeing a very good probability of seeing at least tropical storm force winds into areas like St. Lucia, Martinique, St. Vincent, and also Barbados. For reference, again, that's Barbados right there. As we go into the weekend and into early next week, of course, the certainty decreases. So we have little less certainty here, more uncertainty of exactly who is going to see the strongest of those winds, who is going to see at least tropical storm force winds. So when we take a look at the tropics as a whole, all we have out there right now is Elsa. So that is going to be our main focus at this point. So Elsa just added to the list this morning. We're going to put that tropical storm icon on that as we head through today, because that's what we're going to be keeping an eye on. Next on the list is going to be Fred, Grace, and Henry would be the next 3 names on the list. So let's talk about July. July just starting today. Here's some of the areas that we typically like to watch for where tropical systems can form and develop in the month of July. So we're looking towards the Gulf of Mexico is one of those areas, heading just down to the south and east just a little bit. You're seeing the Yucatan Peninsula here. Also south of Cuba and just to the west of Jamaica is another area that we tend to watch for some tropical development. Areas just off of the eastern coast of Florida, around the Carolina coast as well. And then we're going right back to where Elsa just formed. That's one of the areas that we typically would watch during the month of July for tropical systems to develop. So for July, we typically see right around 8% of our named storms on average, maybe some years a little more, some years a little less. Things really start to jump up as we head into the month of August, 27%, and then September, typically that peak month with right around 34% of our storms expected to form in September. So if you're interested, you can find me online. I'm most active on Twitter, posting information about the tropics over on Twitter at _Rachael TV. Make sure you're subscribed to us here on 13 News Now's YouTube channel. We upload these updates whenever there's an active storm or potential development. We do like to keep you all updated on the tropics, not just for our viewers here where we're located in Eastern Virginia and North Carolina, but for anyone who's interested and may have interest in areas that are going to be affected by these tropical systems. So make sure you're subscribed to us and keep a lookout for some more updates on Elsa as we head through the next couple of days.